Inside a dark forest, a mother and her child is running from someone who appears to be chasing them with a car. After running some distance, the woman hides among the bushes with her kid, and when the pursuer gets out of the vehicle to look for them, he doesn't find anyone and drives away. Suddenly the woman finds a deer staring at them. As she gets closer to the animal, it suddenly falls into a pit filled with spikes and dies. Suddenly, the man chasing them appears behind and slaps the woman, which makes her fall to the ground. The mysterious man grabs the little kid and threatens to hurt the kid with a knife, so the mother begs the man that she would come back to him as long as he doesn't hurt the child. The kid manages to take the knife from the man and tells him to stay away from his mother. The man only stares at the kid before grabbing the knife and slashes the woman's throat, making both mother and child fall into the hole behind them filled with spike. Fortunately for the kid, he survived, but the mom died on impact. Now in the present, a family of 4 is traveling by the road and having a casual family conversation and making jokes when the car enters a foggy area. Not being able to see further distance on the road, they suddenly hit a deer. Turns out this is a nightmare as Scott gets startled awake. Ashley, Scott's sister, is also experiencing the same nightmare brought about by the death of their parents, which has strained their relationship, so they decide to organize a 3-day hiking trip into the forest. Joining them are Scott's girlfriend Gwen, Ashley's partner Charlie, and Scott's best friend Lars. The group hopes that this would bring them the serenity that they need to forget the past and move on with their lives. On their way, Scott is startled by a deer appearing in front of them, which almost causes them to crash, but he quickly regains control of the vehicle, as this is just him hallucinating their parents' accident years ago. Once they make their way into the heart of the forest, the group grabs their bags and simply gives Lars a pepper spray just in case he comes across a bear. While the group makes their way into the woods, they don't notice a sign on a board that shows a lot of missing people. At the same time, 2 girls are hiding and running from a man who's firing an arrow at them. He manages to hit one of them in the throat before cutting his fingers off and stomps on his face repeatedly to finally kill him. Further into the forest, Ashley finds a waterfall and stands to admire it because she hasn't seen something like it for a while. Scott tries to use the opportunity to try to have a conversation with her, but she simply walks away, not wanting to talk to her brother. Charlie follows her shortly to ask what's wrong, and she tells him that she's overwhelmed by the presence of his brother and she doesn't know how to feel around him because she still blames him for what happened to their parents. Charlie tries to comfort her by asking her if she doesn't want to be here. He doesn't mind telling the others that he's sick so they can all leave the forest and go to their respective homes. Ashley tells him not to do that as she has suddenly changed her mind. While the couple are kissing, they are unaware about the presence of a mysterious man watching them. When Charlie leaves to join the others, Ashley is left alone as she keeps assuring herself that she can do this. She is suddenly startled by Scott appearing behind her. Scott laments on how she doesn't behave like she used to towards him, and it hurts him so much that the only thing he wants right now is to have her sister back, and her response was that she only wants their parents back before walking away. The group keeps walking deeper into the woods and having casual conversation when Lars misses his step and falls into a hole with spikes. Thankfully he's able to hold on to the edges, allowing both Scott and Charlie to quickly grab him and pull him out. Since it's getting dark already, the group decides to be more careful this time and set up camp around the corner so they can rest for the day. When it's time to eat, Charlie tells the group that they shouldn't eat processed food when they can go and catch some fish at the river they came across earlier. Scott agrees to the idea, so they both go together, leaving Lars to take good care of the girls. Of course, Lars starts making jokes about how camping out here in the middle of nowhere is a dumb idea, but he has to because Scott invited him to join him. Ashley asks him why did he come even when he doesn't like camping, and he tells her it's because Scott took good care of him. Even though his attitude changed after the death of their parents, he still hopes to help him through the healing process. When Scott and Charlie are beginning to take too long to return, Lars sets out to go look for them with his camera. While Lars is gone, Ashley starts to throw up as she reveals to Gwen that she's a few months pregnant, as she cries out that she's not ready to be a mom yet, and Gwen tries her best to comfort her by assuring Ashley that they will figure it out together as a family, telling her to also inform Charlie about it. Once the duo is done fishing and on their way back, they start hearing wolves howling and growling behind them. The two start to run, but it's too late. The wolves are already circling them. As they start running as fast as they possibly can, suddenly they stop hearing the wolves, and the only thing they can hear is the wolves wailing in pain as they are killed one by a mysterious man. Not wanting to wait around to find out who was capable of single-handedly killing a pack of wolves, the duo continues to run with no sense of direction. Since Charlie is farther ahead, he doesn't notice it when Scott trips and falls into a pit with spikes and passes out. Not until after some distance he discovers that Scott is missing and still continues to run. Charlie manages to return to the group, where they start asking about Scott. He explains that they got separated when they were chased by a pack of wolves, so the group grabs what they can to go look for him. Scott on the other hand wakes up to find that his leg has been impaled by one of the spikes and is unable to get his leg out as he screams for help. Seeing that he's losing lots of blood, Scott takes out his waist belt and ties it around the injury to maybe stop the bleeding. Afterwards, he tries to grab his bag that's hanging on the other side to see if he can get his phone and call for help, but his hand couldn't reach it. He takes off his shirt and tries to use it to pull the bag down, but it automatically fails. He then takes the belt off his injury and ties it with his shirt, giving him enough extension to finally grab the bag. The group gets a call and for a moment they're happy that it might be Scott calling, but it's just Scott's phone alarm system going off. Scott on the other hand realizes that his phone isn't in his bag and gets frustrated. He tries using his car keys to see if he can cut through the wooden spike, but it proves to be very difficult, so he starts recording himself with a voice recorder. Seeing that he's far from getting help anytime soon, Scott uses his shirt to cover his upper body and prepares himself for sleep. Then it is revealed that the kid who fell into the pit years ago with his mom managed to climb out of the hole and attacked his own father and killed him by stabbing him multiple times. Now as an adult, the boy has become a ferocious hunter and has set many traps in the woods, including several pitfalls. Presently he's going after two girls, who are hiding behind a tree, to call for help through a walkie-talkie. A man answers them and it appears he's not very far from them, but he can't see them yet. With this, the girls rush out to meet the man, and one of the girls is caught in one of the man traps in the forest, which leaves her dangling upside down from a tree. The rescuer hears them and tries to help the girls escape, but he's hit from behind by the hunter. He hits the rescuer several times before shooting him with his arrow. While the man screams in pain, the hunter ends his suffering by throwing an axe at his head, instantly killing him. One of the girls grabs the axe and manages to rescue her friend, after which they find a handgun with which they intend to defend themselves. Scott wakes up to find Ashley standing at the edge of the pit and starts to beg her to get him out of here. Instead, Ashley tells him that he deserves what's happening to him and hopes he rots down there, only for him to wake up to discover that it's just a nightmare. Beside him is the fish they caught on the river the other day, which is starting to rot. Since he's starving, Scott takes a bite and quickly throws up because of the awful taste. Just then the hunter appears over the edge of the pit and stares at Scott as he begs for help, but he only signals him to stay quiet before walking away. It's nighttime already when the group starts to hear Scott screaming for help. Following the voice, they find a hidden walkie-talkie where the sound is coming from, but Scott is nowhere around it. Thinking that Scott must be in trouble and someone is messing with them, the group decides that first thing in the morning, they'll get to a cliff where they can find signal and call for rescue. A flashback shows us the aftermath of the car crash. Scott was able to get out of the car to find his dad dead on impact, but the mom was still alive. He tries getting Ashley out of the car first, but her seat belt appears to be stuck. Scott notices that a truck is coming their way and the fog would make it difficult for the driver to spot them in time, so he has to act fast. Since her seatbelt has refused to come off, Ashley tells Scott to get their mom first. In the present, Scott has just finished his last drop of water and starts to record his experience and doesn't notice a centipede crawl into his injured leg. Before it gets too late, Scott grabs it in time and throws it away. At that moment he starts hallucinating. He tries to ask his other self for help, but he keeps taunting and blaming him for the death of his parents, also telling him that Gwen is about to die because of him. The group has set up a campfire with Charlie keeping watch. Not long after that, Charlie starts to feel drowsy and ends falling asleep while the hunter is seen walking past him. In the morning, the group are terrified after they learn that all their stuffs are missing, including their phones. Gwen grows heraldtic about the situation and tells everyone that she suspects that someone is stalking them, so they need to make their way out of the woods as soon as possible. Since they don't have a map or any sense of direction, Gwen points the path she intends to follow, inviting them to join her or she doesn't mind going alone. Later, Gwen apologizes for her outburst earlier, hoping this would make Ashley see her as her friend and hopefully get her to stop blaming her brother for the death of their parents and move on, but Ashley refuses to listen, and this leads into an argument that Lars has to interrupt to show them the hunter hanging on one of the tree branches and staring at them like Tarzan. They try to ask him about their missing friend, but he doesn't respond to their questions and disappears almost immediately, so the group continues their search. That night, Charlie gets up to get more wood for the fire and tells everyone to stay put until he returns. Gwen offers to join him, but he refuses. Minutes later, the group hears a loud noise and thinks it's Charlie, so they all go out to look for him. Meanwhile, Scott finds Lars' camera where he watches everything that's happening in the camp. Charlie returns to the camp with the wood, only to find Gwen and Ashley tied up and gagged inside one of the tents. Just as he tries to set them free, the hunter appears right behind him and knocks him out. He's tied up and kept inside one of the tent, where the hunter lights it on fire. Charlie finds a knife beside him and tries to roll on it to cut the ropes, but the ropes are too thick and difficult to penetrate. Before he could finish cutting, Charlie has burnt so much that when he finally left the tent, he collapses and dies. Lars eventually frees himself and rescues the others. After taking a moment to grieve for their friend, everyone sets out with a weapon in search of the hunter. On their way they come across two of the other girls that are also trying to escape from the killer. Together they all start running from the hunter, who's shooting an arrow continuously at them but manages to miss all his shot thanks to the group moving diagonally instead of a straight form. After running some distance, the group stops to catch their breath, only for one of the new girl to get taken out by a flying axe thrown by the hunter. Seeing that there's nothing they could do to help the girl, the group continues to run. Unaware to them, they step into a trap that everyone manages to dodge except from Ashley as she gets impaled on the shoulder by the wooden trap. Lars uses an axe and uses it to cut the wood to try and save Ashley, while one of the girls stays behind to shoot the hunter. She eventually fires a shot at the killer, but this doesn't do much damage and he steps on another trap that sends another wooden spike that instantly kills the girl. Lars tries to defend himself and the girls, but he's slapped away by the killer. Gwen stabs him on the shoulder with a knife and he slashes her face before slapping her unconscious. He proceeds to cut Ashley loose and carries her on his shoulder and disappears into the woods. Inside the pitfall, a tiny knife suddenly falls close to Scott and he picks it up and uses to cut a tree root that's beside him so he can drink some water. After that, he starts filing the spike on his leg to free himself. As if nature is against him, it suddenly looks like it's about to rain. Lars and Gwen wakes up to look for Ashley, and at that moment they hear her screaming through the walkie-talkie. Listening to it, they discover that he's taken her to somewhere close to a fountain. Meanwhile, Ashley is tied to a tree branch and left hanging above the pitfall where Scott has been. Lars and Gwen finds the campfire and Gwen rushes to the rescue, ignoring Lars when he told her to hold on, and she's caught by one of the bear traps. Lars manages to jump on the hunter and a fight ensues. The hunter appears to be very strong as he hits Lars couple of times before grabbing his arrow to end him. He misses his shots until he finally runs out of arrow. Gwen manages to set herself free and throws a knife for Lars, who catches it and uses it to defend himself against the killer in a hand-to-hand combat. Lars successfully stabs him multiple times, so he runs away only for him to appear behind and starts lashing him from behind. The pitfall is already getting filled up with water from the rain, so Scott is doing everything possible to cut himself loose and rescue his sister. The hunter manages to stab Lars between his mouth and Gwen manages to fire a bullet that hits the man on his shoulder. Before Scott could drown, he manages to set himself loose from the spike. The story then takes us to the past, where we see Scott trying to rescue his mother but she's stuck. Seeing that there's no way Scott could save both of them, his mom tells him to save Ashley and promise to take care of her. In the present, Ashley reveals to Scott that she's pregnant, which further fuels his urge to rescue her and make sure she and the baby make it out of there alive. Before Ashley could fall into the pit, Scott grabs her by the hand and pulls her up. While the hunter gets ready to end Lars, he uses the pepper spray on him, which causes the hunter to step into his own trap. Just as the group prepares to leave the forest, Gwen is stabbed from behind by the hunter. Infuriated by the death of yet another member of their group, Ashley and Scott works together to kill the hunter and watches him as he falls into his own pit. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and would love to see more from this